Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer, and I'm here with Kevin DeLange, owner of Dry Dock Brewing Company and the Brew Hut here in Aurora, Colorado. Kevin and his guys last year won the Small Brew Pub of the Year, according to the Great American Beer Festival.
We were lucky enough to get 3 medals. You get 3 points for a gold medal, 2 for a silver, and 1 for a bronze. And we were lucky enough to get a gold and 2 silvers, which was enough points to get Small Brewing Company of the Year. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It's been crazy. We were kind of joking now that we're at GABF week again, and the awards are tomorrow on Saturday. This is the last day we get to celebrate because somebody else will have it. So.
You're being humble. I'm
sure. The odds of repeating are pretty remote. So we'll see.
We're rooting for you.
As long as we don't get shut out, we'll be happy.
Now, those who are fans of the archives might recognize Kevin. We were here when?
Years
was
ago,
that
I think.
2006 or something?
Yeah, it's been a few years.
Now the setup that you have now is quite different from what you started with.
It is. It's quite a bit different. We kind of started, I call it the starter brewery set, kind of like the beginning homebrewing set almost. We pieced together some equipment that we were able to track down from all the breweries in Colorado. We called them all and finally put some stuff together. We didn't have any glycol jackets on the fermenters even. We had to build a second room in the front of the cooler, and sometimes I'd have to get up in the middle of the night and come in and open the door or shut the door to keep the temperature right. So we had a lot of success though over the last few years, and when we moved into this space last June, 2009, we were able to upgrade and get a much nicer setup.
So you moved from next door.
Yeah.
You basically had the shop in the front of the complex, and then
yeah.
the tasting room and the brewery in the back. Was that advantageous to you or disadvantageous to you to start at that level, to start that small?
I think it was great. It made it a lot less risky. It was a level of risk I was able to take on, and if it hadn't worked, it still would have been okay. Whereas going too big right off the bat, really, if it hadn't worked, would have been much more painful. So, and having the synergy between the two businesses was fantastic. It worked kind of like I thought it would. At first, the homebrew shop customers, it was a successful homebrew shop already, would patronize the brewery now. And as we've grown, it's now people come in also just for the brewery, who are craft beer lovers, who then decide to go check out the homebrew shop now and decide to start brewing. So the two work really well together.
So, I mean, starting small, you got to work on your recipes, and you kind of had to, as the musicians say, work on your chops.
Yeah.
What was the transition like? I mean, talk about your new system and talk about the transition to that bigger system.
The biggest difference in the new system is we had a lot more control, which helped with the consistency. That was one of the downsides of our first system, is especially that mash tun was so simple. It was just an old serving vessel with the top cut off and a homemade false bottom, a stainless false bottom. So efficiencies would vary drastically. Sometimes you'd add more grain and the efficiency would drop so much that you were better off having just used less in the first place because you're trying to cram it in there and the runoff didn't work as well. And so the biggest thing was with the transition to the new system was deciding exactly what you wanted the beer to be like, because you now had the consistency and the control. We were now able to do exactly what we wanted. So that was the hardest part. And of course, like with any new system, it took a few brewers to figure out exactly how much grain you could fit in there. For example, the first beer we made on the new system was our Old Ale, our HMS Bounty Old Ale, and we missed gravity so bad because we tried to put too much grain in it. We couldn't pump it over, and we ended up calling it Calibration Ale. We had to rename it. It didn't quite turn out like we had hoped, but we've got it dialed in now.
So you've got a new 7-barrel system and a new brewer.
Yes, I realized right as we started construction that there was no way I was going to be able to continue to do it all, to do all the back office work and the paperwork and try to brew as well. So I hired Bill I as my new brewmaster. He was already an acquaintance. He was brewing at another location here in Denver. So I was kind of amazed because I still wasn't sure if we're taking on this much larger space and our expenses were so much higher, and then here I am hiring a full-time brewer as well. But had I not, I would have, looking back on it, it was a no-brainer because there was no way I'd be able to keep up. So now we've got Bill full-time, obviously, he's the head brewer, and we have actually 3 assistant brewers that all work about 20 hours a week. So
wow.
It's still just a 7-barrel system, and we go through 30 barrels or so a week. So we're having to brew 4 or 5 times a week, and then all the transferring and cleaning and everything that are associated with that as well.
So how long until you outgrow this system?
Unfortunately, we're probably just going to stick with this one. It's we've got some new
You're saying
fermenters.
this to people.
Yes, exactly. We've got new fermenters, so starting next week, we're going to be able to brew about 6.5 times a week, 7 times a week. So there's going to be a lot of double days, and most days we'll be brewing probably two times almost every day, and then with the transferring and all the cleaning and everything that are associated with it. It's so expensive to bring a new brew house in. It's not the cost of the brew house so much as getting it in and setting it up and repiping all that steam and water and such. So at this location, at least, we're going to stick with the 7-barrel. If we get bigger again, it'll probably to do a production brewery somewhere else. Still leave this as it is, but if we decide to really start doing full-scale packaging, it'd probably be somewhere else. But
Now, this is your Docktoberfest?
yeah, this is, last year we got silver medal at Great American Beer Fest for this. Turned out really nice. Our new system, we're actually able to decoct. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're actually able to decoct and do step mashing. And so we do decoct this beer. We pump over 2/3 of the mash, and we leave 1/3 in that vessel, which is heat applied, and we can go ahead and boil it for half hour or so, and then run the rest off. So
you mash in the kettle.
we're mashing
run
in
it off
the
to
kettle.
The louder tone.
Yeah, yep. It's that system's designed to mash in the boil kettle. It's got a big paddle in there, so you just mash right in. You're able to stir it very easily. So we'll do the normal steps or get most of our conversion done, and then we'll pump 2/3 of it over to the louder tone. Usually you would move it all over and then sparge back into the boil kettle. In this case, we'll just move 2/3 of it and then boil the last third. So it's kind of fun. I tease Bill that he's so spoiled with this new system because he can do anything he wants.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice.
So the next step, you're going to expand the tasting room?
Yep, we've just been in here about 1.5 years, and we're going to move the homebrew shop back where it came from. That space is still vacant, knock a big hole in the wall, and then be able to make the tasting room bigger. Right now it gets very crowded on Thursday and Friday nights, so we can definitely use that extra space.
Well, we're looking forward to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
And good luck this year.
Thank you very much.
And by the time this airs or runs, we'll know whether
people will know whether you got any medals or not.
What we should do is we should shoot 2 ending versions. You know,
Yeah,
one congratulating
exactly.
you and one.
We have a party on Sunday after GABF every year. It's either the celebration or commiseration party. We're not sure which. But
There you go. Well, thanks, Kevin.
yeah, thanks for visiting again, James.
Cheers. Come and visit us on the web. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archived lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs, Extract Brewing and Partial Mashing, Stepping into All Grain, Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, Introduction to Wine Kits, and our 2011 Brewer's Logbook. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Write to James at basicbrewing.com, Steve at basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.